Welcome to the second episode of the Escape from Tarkov Field Guide. In today's video, we'll talk about your character's health system, status effects, possible injuries, and how to treat them. Let's start with the fundamentals. In the first video, we learned that your PMC has 440 health points distributed over 7 body parts. The character has energy and hydration stats. In a raid, these values decrease over time. All these indicators reflect the overall health of your PMC. You can restore your character's health with the help of medkits, and when wounded, you can suffer from bleeding, fractures, and other negative effects which are treated with special medical items. You can heal a wound in 5 different ways. Number 1. The fastest option is to assign an item to the quick access panel. To do this, place it in your character's pockets or tactical rig, hover the cursor over the item, and press any key from 4 to 0. The item will be added to the quick access bar. It will be possible to heal by a single click without the need to open the inventory at all. Number 2, the slowest but sometimes irreplaceable way, open the health tab and manually drag a medical item to the part of the body you need to treat. Number 3, the third option is through the right mouse button context menu by clicking Use. Number 4, you can also do it by double-clicking on the item with the left mouse button. Number 5, or hold the hotkey from 4 to 0 when using the first aid kit and other medical items. The body parts to heal will appear in a drop-down list. When using a first aid kit, the list will show all of the character's wounds, and when using medical items like bandages or splints, it'll only show those body parts that can be healed with that specific item. If you have not selected a specific body part to heal, as in option 2 or option 5, the selection of the wound to heal is chosen automatically according to the following properties: body part with heavy bleeding, body part with light bleeding, body part with a fracture, body part with fewer health points than the head, the thorax, and all the other body parts. Here's a little tip. You can keep your first aid kit and any other medical items in your pouch. They won't be lost when you die, and they can be used in your next raids. Death in Tarkov occurs when you lose all of your health points, or lose points in critical body parts such as the head or the thorax. If a body part has completely lost its health points, it is considered destroyed, or in other words, blacked out. A destroyed limb cannot be healed with a first aid kit, and it imposes a significant negative effect on the character. When the arms are destroyed, the character will find it harder to hold a weapon, and there'll be tremors and disturbances when aiming. Arm stamina will be drained much more rapidly as well. When your legs are destroyed, the character will begin to limp, and running will become unavailable. Jump height is also significantly reduced. If the stomach is blacked out, the energy and hydration will drain several times as fast. In rare cases, which we'll tell you about later, it's possible to survive with a destroyed head or thorax. In such cases, the character will be suffering from severe coughing, dizziness, and blurred vision. Destroyed body parts have one more significant drawback. Continuous damage to those blacked out body parts will be evenly distributed over all the other parts that are still intact. So be careful. Status effects. Many factors can affect a character in a raid. Bleeding, fractures, or even poisoning. Your character may be exhausted from dehydration or feel the effects of being over-encumbered from carrying too many items. Everything that affects a character in one way or another is called a status effect. Let's discuss the main ones. Those that are life-threatening or require special attention during a raid. Bleeding. There's 2 types of bleeding, light and heavy. Light bleeding reduces health points by 0.8 HP in each body part every 6 seconds. Heavy bleeding reduces health points by 0.9 HP in each body part every 4 seconds. This one's got to be treated right away. A fresh wound will appear on the body part after it's been treated. If you run or jump frequently, the fresh wound may open and start bleeding all over again. The effect will disappear by itself after a little while. A fracture. Until it's removed, a limb with a fracture receives the same negative effects as a completely blacked out limb. Pain. We're all used to this one. It occurs with fractures, wounds, and destroyed limbs. Pain causes a blurred screen, and the effect goes away when the cause of pain is removed. Dehydration and exhaustion. Very important effects that even experienced fighters forget about all the time. The player gets them when the indicators of water or food supply drop to 0. These effects greatly reduce the character's fighting ability. In order to remove the effects, simply eating or drinking is enough. Dehydration causes the effects of pain, hand tremors, and loss of health points in all body parts every 2 to 3 seconds. Exhaustion will cause tunnel vision, similar loss of health points, and almost completely deprives the player of hand and foot stamina regeneration. You can learn more about the meaning of status effects by hovering over the corresponding status icon in the game. Medical items and stimulants. Let's take a closer look at the medical items available to the player. Let's divide them into 5 categories while we're at it. 1. Medkits. 2. Wound and fracture treatment items. 3. Painkillers. 4. Injectors. And finally 5. Surgery kits. Let's look at the medkits. First aid kits are the most important item for restoring health. Each of them has a different number of durability points. When healing, these points are converted into health. A medkit is applied to a specific body part, not to the character as a whole. If you need to heal several limbs, you'll have to use a first aid kit on each one by one. Now, some kits have the ability to heal status effects of bleeding or fractures. Durability is spent on these ailments as well. To find out the abilities of a particular first aid kit, open it in the item inspector and check it out. It's usually not a good idea to treat bleeding with first aid kits. For example, an IFAK can heal a heavy bleed, but it's going to use up about 80% of its entire resource. So if you're seriously wounded, you should keep the first aid kit to restore your health points. Treat your bleeds with bandages, S-marches, or whatever bleed treatment you have available first. Medkits are also different from each other in many ways. Their durability points, the amount of time they take to use, the amount of health points restored per use, ability to treat bleedings or fractures, as we just talked about, and amount of durability points for treating said bleedings or fractures. Wound and fracture treatment items. These items are cheap and can quickly treat a major wound. Bandages should be used to manage light bleeding. For heavy bleeds, though, you're going to need tourniquets or hemostatics. The latter are characterized by quick application time and reusability. To treat a fracture, a regular or aluminum splint is going to be required. Painkillers. Painkillers are a must-have item in every fighter's kit. They can allow the player to temporarily ignore the status effects of broken legs, dull the pain effect, or even suppress the coughing of your character. Painkillers are characterized by the number of uses, the speed of application, and the duration of its effect. Any use of painkillers significantly reduces energy and hydration values as well, so keep that in mind. Injectors. Injectors are rare disposable drugs in the form of an injector syringe. When used, the player receives temporary positive status effects, and with a short delay, negative status effects, the consequences of using said stimulants. In this video, there's no way we're going to be able to tell you about all of them, but we'll show you the most popular ones among players. It's the least we can do. First one's going to be morphine. Morphine is a strong painkiller and an injector form factor. Its quick use time has saved players in critical situations many times. Using a morphine syringe consumes your hydration and energy values, so at early levels of your character, you should only use this injector in extreme situations. The second is propofol. After using the stimulant, the character will slowly regenerate health in all wounded body parts. Propofol removes the effects of pain and concussion for a long period of time, and it gives the status effect on painkillers. This effect is identical to all painkillers. A short time after using the stimulant, the player will experience a brief hand tremor and a tunnel vision effect. The Zagastin, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, hemostatic drug injector allows you to instantly heal all current bleedings while preventing new bleedings for 3 whole minutes. The negative effect is quite severe though. 3 minutes after use, the character will begin to lose about 1.5 points of hydration for 40 seconds. Without a supply of drinking water, using Zagastin in the middle or at the end of a raid is likely to cause instant dehydration. There's a ton of other injectors in Escape from Tarkov that you're going to have to find and explore on your own. Good luck. Surgery kits. In the first video, we mentioned that destroyed limbs, or blacked out limbs, can be healed with special surgical kits. Any blacked out limbs, except for the head and thorax, can be restored with surgical kits. After using a kit, the limb regains 1 health point. A portion of that body part's maximum health is also lost. After the surgery, the destroyed body part turns normal, which means that it can be healed with the first aid kit. Keep in mind that bleedings and other similar negative effects can take away the only health point from the newly healed body part. So you're going to waste that use of the kit and have to use it again if you don't stop the bleeding or any other damage-causing factor to your character first before performing surgery. So first, you're going to need to find a safe spot. You're going to make noise during the surgery. You're not going to be able to draw your weapon quickly in the middle of it either. Your plan of action is as follows. First, treat all existing bleedings and remove negative effects that drain your health. Find a safe place to conduct the surgery. Assess the situation. Are you going to make it out in time? You can cancel a started surgery by clicking the left or right mouse button. The cancel animation is not instantaneous, and you're going to be incapacitated just for a moment. The surgical kits themselves differ in the surgery length, the number of uses, and the percentage of maximum health points lost afterwards. The Serve 12 kit is also going to be able to fix your fractures at the same time or on their own. Healing in your stash. Your health points and the wound status effects will remain with you after you leave the raid. Your character rests and regenerates automatically while you're in the stash. Bleedings heal within a few minutes as well. Fractures or toxin poisoning do not go away by themselves. You'll need to use the appropriate medical items to heal or use therapist services. Your hideout's zones can also affect your health regeneration rate in its entirety. After the raid, a trader called Therapist will offer her medical services. You can fully heal your character for a small fee if you left the PMC raid with wounds or your character died. You can also restore health yourself with the help of your medkits in your stash. So today, you learned about the basic mechanics of EFT related to your character's health and its healing. In the next video, we're going to touch on one of the most important topics of the game: ammo and armor mechanics. Thanks for watching, everybody. Catch you in the next one.